Hey guys, today I want to talk about something that's really cool. It's an alternative to RPE. So, if you've watched my videos in the past, you might know that I have a few hangups when it comes to RPEs. I have mentioned that it can be kind of hard to judge how many reps you have left in reserve, even if you're an advanced lifter, right? So, this method kind of solves that issue, and I'm going to go deeper into it as we get into the video. So, first, let's recap the traditional RPE method. Traditional RPE scale is usually RPE stands for rate of perceived exertion. It's a subjective measure of how hard you're training that allows you to tailor your workouts, your individual training sessions, to tailor those to how you're feeling that day. So instead of saying I'm supposed to lift 300 for 10 reps, I'm supposed to lift 10 reps at 7. And whatever weight feels like an at 7 that day, you did the right workout. Now, the problem is determining what a 7 means, or what an 8 means, or 9 means, or 10 means, or whatever your scale goes to, right? I've seen scales that go from 0 to 10. I've seen scales that go from 7 to 12. I've seen everything. So, the most popular one tends to be 7 to 10, and 7 is generally considered a warm up weight, or maybe you have more than 4 reps left in the tank. And then an 8 is a moderately hard working weight, and you have maybe 2 to 4 reps. And a 9 is a very tough set where you could only do maybe 1 or 2 more clean reps. And then an at 10 is an all out effort. You couldn't possibly do another good repetition, no matter what. Again, this can be kind of tricky for many people because until you actually go to failure, you don't know how many reps you have left. I can't tell you how many times I've sworn that I had 3 more reps left, and I do another rep and I hit failure because maybe it was a stiff legged deadlift and my hamstrings gave out, even though everything else was really strong. Or maybe I was just so psyched up I felt like I had more in the tank and my muscles weren't having it. Or maybe I was just not focused that day, and I kind of lost track of how hard I should be pushing. And I think, based on the athletes that I've spoken with, these are very common problems. So I have a bit of a solution. This is something I developed with my own coach, Taylor Gohn, and I think that it's an incredibly effective method to get to the same end as RPEs without as much subjectivity. So remember, the goal of using the RPEs is to make sure that whatever training weight you're using on a particular day is reflective of how you're feeling that day, whether you slept poorly, ate poorly, feeling great, whatever. So it's still going to follow a 7 to 10 method, right? But we're going to take some of the subjectivity out of it. And here's how we do that. A 7 means that the weight on the bar feels light. Again, this is subjective. So the weight on the bar feels light, whether it's on your back, whether in your hands. It doesn't feel weightless, but it doesn't feel like something you're really going to have to strain with. And then objectively, when you watch the video that you recorded of your lift, the bar is moving quickly. That's a 7. Now an 8 means the weight feels heavy in your hands or in your back or whatever, but you watch the video and it's still moving quickly. That's an 8. Once the bar starts to feel heavy and it starts to move slow, right? 8 feels light, moves fast. Feels heavy, moves fast. 9 is feels heavy, moves slow. Okay, that's a 9. And then 10 means you completed the rep you completed the rep safely, but you lost control of the bar. Your technique broke down, something like that. There's a lot of reasons I really like this method. The first is we're taking a lot of the subjectivity out of it. All you have to worry about is, does the weight feel light? Does the weight feel heavy? That's the only subjective part of it. That's very easy to gauge for anyone. Then, objectively, you watch your video and you say, did the bar move fast? Did the bar move slow? Was the bar wobbling all over the place? And that helps you determine is it 7, 8, 9, or 10. That's all there is to it. Very simple, very straightforward, but in our experience, mine and Taylor's, this works just as well as the traditional RPE method, and it's a lot easier to follow. So again, really super simple. There's not a whole lot I have to add to this. If you're following an RPE-based program already, I suggest you just try this method out instead, see how it works for you. If you're not following an RPE-based program, keep in mind for the future, find an RPE-based one if you like. I can link to some of my own in the descriptions below. But regardless, I think this is something you should consider, something you should have in your toolkit in case you do want to venture into the auto-regulation world.